Welcome to Empowering Your Thoughts, an outreach ministry of Christ International Church. On this program, we deal with mental health issues and how they intersect with our faith. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share this program with a friend. And your hosts for today's show and mental health advocates, Tabitha Perez, Valerie Taylor, and Nicole McKenzie.
In your life is just beyond your grasp. Hello, my name is Tabitha, and this is Empowering Your Thoughts, an outreach ministry of Christ International Church. On this program, we deal with a variety of topics surrounding mental health issues and how those intersect with our faith.
Hello, I'm Valerie, and if you feel like this content resonates with you, we ask you to please like, comment, share with a friend, and subscribe.
And my name is Nicole. Thank you so much, Tabitha and Valerie. And we'll get back to you in a little bit. But don't forget to stick around and wait to the very end where we will give you tips on how to manage and navigate and maintain your control in these uncontrollable times. Are shelter-in-place orders causing you to feel stuck and or powerless? Feel free to leave your concern and your feeling in a comment section. And if so, today's episode is just for you. You will see truly where our control lies in this seemingly out of control world. Today's show is interactive, so if you have paper and pen handy, go ahead and grab it so we can see what's truly in your hand. In the opening books of the book of Exodus, we see the bondage of the children of Israel, and God is beginning to formulate and share his plan to deliver them. God chooses Moses. He is asking Moses, a murderer with a speech impediment, to deliver the children of Israel from bondage. Suffice it to say, Moses was probably feeling overwhelmed, anxious, scared, and inadequate. Moses repeatedly challenged God's selection of him and also the strength of his plan. So let's go into the scriptures to see a little bit more of this exchange. In Exodus 4, verses 1 through 2, New Living Translation, it reads as follows. But Moses protested again. What if they won't believe me or listen to me? What if they say the Lord has never appeared to you? Then the Lord asked him, what is in your hand? A shepherd's staff, Moses replied. Similarly, we find ourselves in an unfamiliar and scary world. We too may feel overwhelmed and anxious about our loved ones, our health, our finances. It's powerless. And I would challenge you with the same question that God asked Moses. What is in your hand? Hand in this passage typifies power, strength, and direction. Hand also denotes control. Although the season of our life is overflowing with uncertainty and the fear of the unknown looms so big in our lives, we are not completely without power. We will now examine 3 tools that we have within our control to assist us in navigating this and other crises that may occur in our lives. The first tool within our control is our focus. Remember the sheet of paper I asked you to grab at the beginning? I want you to take out one, and I want you to trace the outline of your hand. On the outside of your hand, I want you to take a moment to write the things that are outside of your control. You can write things such as mandatory curfews or stay-at-home orders or not being able to physically attend church. Even in this situation, we are not completely powerless. We do have control over some things. We have control over, for example, how much news we consume in a given day, how we are maintaining our connections to our loved ones. And we can also remember that this is an election year. So I want you to take another moment and jot down the things that are in your control on the inside of the hand. When I completed this exercise for myself, as shown on the screen, the virus itself and the way that the elected officials were managing it are completely out of my control. I can expend my energy trying to will these leaders into doing what I desire or what I think is right. Or I can refocus my energy on things that are on the inside or in control, and on what is on the inside of my hand or what I have control over. The way that I manage stress, how I'm maintaining my connections with my loved ones, how I'm exercising daily. These are the best uses of my energy, and they are helping me reclaim my power. As I have shared on this program before, what we focus on grows. If the bulk of our time is spent on the things that are outside of our control and it's causing us to feel anxiety or panic or fear or causing us to feel overwhelmed, it is time to shift our focus. It is time to focus on what is on the inside of our hands, what is in our power, what is in our grasp, rather than the things on the outside. The second tool in our hand is perspective. How we choose to see a situation is completely up to us. It's completely in our grasp, it's in our authority, it's under and in our power. There's an exercise that I do with the clients that I work with. I place a coffee mug in the center of a table and I give them a sheet of paper. And if you want to do this exercise, you want to replicate it at the conclusion of this video, you're more than welcome. But I place a coffee mug in the center of the table, and I give this client a piece of paper and a writing utensil, and I sit them in front of the mug, and I have them write what they see, and then I move them to another angle, and then another, and then another. And at the end, I ask them, how did you get 4 pictures and the cup never moved? And I ask, and they invariably say, it is because they moved, they shifted. In certain situations in life, they're like that coffee mug. They're unmovable, they're unchanging. They are not going to adjust to us. We truly have to adjust to it. However, as we're moved, i.e. shift our perspective, we're able to see a different aspect of the situation that was unknown to us previously. And if our current way of looking at this challenging situation is causing us distress, then we can get up and move. We can see it from a different angle. The third tool that I'm going to focus on is seeing opportunity in crisis. We are in the midst of a worldwide pandemic. This definitely meets the criteria for a crisis. President John F. Kennedy once said that the word for crisis in Chinese is comprised of 2 characters, one that means danger and the other that means opportunity. He was correct about the danger part. However, he has been criticized as mistranslating the second and was considered, a bit of an optimist because of it. The literal translation of the second character is the point when something begins or changes. We're in this situation where there's danger, but there's also an opportunity. There's also space for something new to begin or for things to change in our favor. Many of us are concerned about the economic impact of the COVID-19 virus. Many of us have been furloughed, we've been laid off, we're working less hours, self-included. I have a few questions for you. Have you ever used a WhatsApp or purchased something off of Groupon or posted a picture on Instagram or taken an Uber? All of these companies were started during the last recession and in 2008. When Moses replied to God, Exodus 4, verses 3-5, a rod, and then he obeyed God by throwing it on the ground where God instructed him to do so. God did a miracle. He actually did too. He turned the rod into a serpent and then turned it back into a rod. Are there any witty inventions, see Proverbs 8-12, that God has placed within your hand? Now we're going to get some input and some feedback from the Empowering Your Thoughts team. But don't forget to stick around for the PowerPoints at the end.
So thank you, Nicole, for sharing that. I think that that was truly awesome and really telling of what we are all experiencing right now. While you were speaking, some things came to mind that I just briefly want to share. The first one is when we feel a loss of control, we tend to start to engage in certain behaviors that can be unhealthy for us in order to regain some type of control. And some of those examples may include overeating, substance abuse, um, excessive cleaning, excessive exercising, self harming behavior. So we want to be mindful and really reflect at a time like this that even though those you seem like you have control while you're engaging in compulsive behaviors or addictive behaviors like that, that in a real sense, it could actually lead you to more self-harm emotionally, physically, and even with family. So just take a few minutes to be able to reflect on that to make sure that you are engaging in healthy behaviors that can help you in regards to control. And also be very mindful of your emotions at this time. When we experience a loss of control, it's easier for us to feel, as Nicole was saying, more anxious, but also more depressed, more irritable, and just find the healthy coping skills that work for you to be able to get you through this difficult time. What are your thoughts, Tabitha?
Thank you so much, Valerie and Nicole. I really love this topic this week, and I think it's really important that we are tackling it during such a time of loss of control. Did I say something a little bit controversial? Control is an illusion. Now, this has been proven to us very, very vividly over these last few weeks of when we've been dealing with COVID-19. The things we assumed we had so much control over, our jobs, the amount of hours we worked, what our paychecks looked like, how many hours we could work overtime. The things we assumed we had control over are now taken just from under us. And so truly the only thing we have control over, we don't even have control over, honestly, the day we leave this earth, right? So we could contact COVID-19 from going to the grocery store and have some kind of underlying illness that we don't know about and then be gone the next day. It's all dust. And essentially what we are in the time of Lent, and it's really lets us know that we're all human, we're all dust. We have control over nearly nothing. What I will point to for everyone here is that we have control over ourselves. So we don't have control over who we spend our time with at this point, other than the people in our house, whether it's someone or no one. We don't have control over who we'll spend our time with. We don't have control over where we'll go. We don't have control over a lot of things that when we were younger, we were fighting for control over. We've all been infantilized in a certain way. And so right now, what we do have control over is ourselves. And so who we're with, who we're spending our time with, how do we show them we love them? How do we avoid conflict by taking the lower position? How do we call the people who we miss? How do we get on the phone or get on FaceTime with those we are truly used to seeing weekly, used to seeing daily, used to seeing all the time? How do we maintain those connections and be creative in how to love people outside of the bounds of the physical connection, outside of the bounds of the lockdown, outside of the bounds of the restrictions that we have been given right now? How do we regain control over some area of our life and give ourselves some stronger or more solid footing in a place in which we are all so unsure right now? And so control is an illusion. That is very true, but you do have control over yourself and how much love you're giving to others and how much you're able to control your own emotions during this time. Thank you so much, Nicole.
All right. Thank you, Tabitha and Val. Those were some very powerful observations, feedbacks, and I thank you so much for sharing it. So now for our power tips. Power tip number 1, there is power in what we choose to focus our attention on. Number 2, even in the midst of the most dire of circumstances, we still have the freedom of perspective. We have growth mindset, so we are able to change and adjust our perspectives to ones that promote emotional and mental wellness and health. 3, in the midst of this crisis, there are opportunities. for us to have witty inventions or even our side hustles to come forth. Number 4, we can be like Moses in this season and acknowledge that God has given us power. He's given us authority. We just need to obey him while we're in this season. And number 5, create a tangible plan for shifting your focus. For example, eating healthy meals and getting regular exercise. In the description portion of our video, you will see a link to a PDF. And this has journal prompts that will assist you even further in being able to identify your power and your strength during these turbulent times, and also assist you in making that plan. So this is the conclusion of this episode of Empowering Your Thoughts. And I want to thank you again for tuning in. This is Empowering Your Thoughts, which is an outreach ministry of Christ International Church. And remember to like, share, subscribe, leave us a comment, and we'll see you next week when Valerie will be our speaker. Until then, be empowered to think well.